fails to disappoint, and that was no different yesterday. New faces to the grid and drama straight from the off as we went racing for the sprint race of round 2 of the season. We had some drivers fighting just a bit too hard to try and get on debut, but he would be denied by Nicholas Solov, who would take a record-equaling 4th win out front for Campos Racing, with Freddie Slater 2nd and Tuukka Taponen taking his first Formula 3 podium in 3rd place. Well, that was the sprint race. Now we get ready to go racing for the slightly longer and bigger point scoring feature race. Welcome everyone to Grand Prix Sunday here at the Bahrain International Circuit, and the grid as you...
Yep, indeed. Hello everyone and welcome to FIA Formula 3, where it is time to go racing for the feature contest, and for the second feature race in a row it's going to be Kamara on pole position. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed, and we cannot wait to bring you this contest. In the commentary box, my name is Omi. Alongside me is Tom Kens.
Hello, Omi. Hello to everyone. Yes, it's Grand Prix Sunday time. It's the Formula 3 feature race, the second feature race of the season in this championship for 2025. And we look to see whether Rafael Kamara can continue where he left off from Melbourne. He didn't do very well yesterday, despite dropping at the back at the beginning before recovering, but he didn't get any points from that. But I do hope to see that he can get off to the best of sorts, as will this man, Charlie Wirtz, the son of 3-time Formula 1 podium finisher Alexander Wirtz. What can he do from 3rd position?
It's going to be really, really interesting to find out. Alongside us also, we are lucky to have Jack, who is in the pit lane. Jack, what's your thoughts ahead of this contest then?
Oh, I've actually not been watching the races as much as I usually do for Formula 3, but the racing so far looks really good, especially with this brand new car. Looking exciting, and this Rafael Kamara guy seemed very quick. I think he was he Formula Regional Champion?
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say, he seems really quick. So, yeah. I think he's got a good shot at the championship already.
He does indeed. Let's run you through the grid from back to front. Santiago Ramos is at the back alongside Nicola Marin-Angeli. Ivan Dominguez is in 28th alongside Zagazeta, who will go from 27th. Ugo Gachukwu is in 26th position with Gerard G, who finds themselves directly ahead. Lawrence Van Hoopen is in 24th. Nicola Lacorte in 23rd. And then we go to 22nd, which belongs to James Wharton. And he's alongside Teofil Nile, who's in 21st position. Mari Boyer in 20th. Roman Belinsky is in 19th place. And our top 18 is started by Louis Sharp for Rodin Motorsport, who will go from 18th to Sana Polenta Pruvazak in 17th place. And then it's Brando Badura in 16th. Javier Segura goes from 15th for AIX Racing, as he'll be looking to try and move forward. Noel Leon is in 14th. Tim Traminitz is in 13th. And then in 12th position, we are going to find ourselves with Joshua Dufek, who came to a halt yesterday after contact. Sten Shawn is alongside in 11th. And then Freddie Slater, the star, one of the stars of yesterday, goes from 10th. Alessandro Giusti is in 9th, the Williams back driver, looking to try and move forward. Our winner from yesterday, Nicola Solov, in 8th. Noah Stromstead is alongside in 7th for Trident. And then the top 6, Tuukka Taponen on the podium yesterday, looking to repeat the same thing today from 6th. Bruno Delpino is in P5. And then it's Christian Ho alongside Charlie Wirtz, who will go from 3rd. That's the second row of the grid. And our first row, we find ourselves with Callum Woisin alongside Rafael Kamara, trying to go back-to-back with feature race victories as well. And this is going to be a really, really interesting Formula 3 feature race, and it's going to be an interesting run down towards the first corner as well, Tom.
Absolutely so. 30 drivers looking to make up for what some of them may feel was not the best of races yesterday, but others, like Freddie Slater, for instance, as you rightly mentioned, had the race of his life yesterday. He was disappointed that he didn't come away with a win either. He felt like the victory was there. But I'm sure there is more to come from him here, providing he can keep his nose clean from 10th on the grid. Will we get another different race winner? Well, that is something we'll have to find out. Santiago Ramos, who won the first sprint race in Melbourne, finds himself at the very, very back of the field. He'll be one to look out for, I think, in terms of racecraft. Whether he ends up in the points or not, we shall see. But yeah, we've got 22 laps, I believe, for this feature race. We had 19 in the
being
sprint
so-
yesterday. It is a slightly longer race, hence why it's a feature race. But there are no mandatory pit stops involved for those who are new to FIA Formula 3.
Absolutely, no mandatory pit stops involved in this contest. Apologies for the little technical issues we are having. We do not have track audio, but what we do have is the ability to hear from our top 3.
Strong suit, especially in the test, so I'm confident, and I know we'll race each other clean, we'll race each other hard especially, but the most important is for the team that we score good points, and yeah, I'll go for the win, but I'll nevertheless be happy with the podium as well.
I want to have a clean race. I want to get some points on the boards. We had a tricky Australia, you know, not up to my standards, I should say. But I think, look, we'll see how it pans out. Obviously, it'll be a tricky race to follow with the tyre degradation and whatnot. But if there's an opportunity, I'd be silly not to go for it.
I think when you enjoy something, you always want to win, you know, but still a very long way to go. Of course, we're starting, I think, in a good way, but we need to keep focused. I think the other team also is pushing quite hard to make sure that they will be stronger for the other races.
Pacing qualifying.
Pace indeed was amazing for Kamara in qualifying. Right before we get the 5 lights going, I'm just going to have a little try again for track audio. JT saying that his equipment is all right, so it's something that Form have done, which means that we aren't able to have it as normal. Some of their settings are messed up, which is not allowing us to have our track audio. It was perfect right before we went on this broadcast. And yes, we can still hear Chris McCarthy, so that is going to be an issue that we're going to hopefully see. We'll try later on in the broadcast to see whether we can get that working and whether it has been sorted. But Trident watching on, and it's going to be an incredible race coming our way. Our battle down towards turn 1 is going to be really, really fascinating to see how it's going to play out. And at the front, you find yourself with Kamara, Woisen and Wers, 2 Tridents in the top 3.
Here we go then. The drivers heading to the grid. We just saw a shot of Giacomo Ricci, the team manager of Trident. He has seen his team win championships in this particular category before. The drivers' championship last year with Gabriel Bortoleto. I forgot his name again. Gabriel Bortoleto did it in 2023. 2024 was won by Leo Fornaroli. That was the name I was trying to get out. But they've also won the team's championship in 2021. So they are familiar with success. They've already got off to the best of starts this season with Rafael Kamara taking the feature race win in Melbourne, and they are leading the team's championship. Hopefully they can continue that here.
Yep, hopefully they can continue that indeed. Go on.
I will also add that Leonardo Fornaroli won that championship without winning a single race all year. A pretty impressive stat.
It absolutely was quite an impressive stat as well. As all of the teams watch on, it is time to go racing once again in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. The final cars are getting themselves into position. Hello to Joshua Smith, who is watching on with us as we get ready to get the 5 red lights going and the contest to begin. It is where we award the big points here on Grand Prix Sunday. You've got Rafael Kamara alongside Callum Woisen, Charlie Wers and Christian Ho. That's your top 4 that we are looking to see how they're going to do down towards the first corner. Is Rafael Kamara going to make it back-to-back wins in this series when it comes to the feature races? Well, it's time to find out. Our battle towards turn number 1 is about to get underway with our final cars in position. It means that we look to the 5 red lights that will start to come on our screen. Here we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights in Bahrain. And the F3 feature is underway. Good reaction time for Kamara. Callum Woisen is going with him though. Woisen's going to get the run down towards the first corner. Are the whole field going to be able to navigate their way through? Ho trying to get to the inside of Charlie Wers. Callum Woisen goes for the lead. He's side by side with Rafael Kamara and he's inching in front and he's taking the lead. Super stuff from Callum Woisen as he hits the front of the Formula 3 feature race. Kamara now has to try and stay ahead of his teammate. There's going to be a big opportunity now coming in for Charlie Wers, who pulls to the outside line into turn number 4, but it's going to be Kamara who has the position. Ho still in fourth, and we're side by side as Tuka Tappinen tries to go on the attack, and he tries to make the move on Bruno Del Pino.
Callum Voisin getting his elbows out at the start, wasting no time disposing of Rafael Kamara, reacting better to the lights and getting the job done into turn 1. Nicely done. We've just seen the lowest trident in the field, Noah Stromstead, going down the inside of one of the MP Motorsport cars. He's made the move stick, and up into 6th position he goes to Stromstead.
Yep, absolutely. As we head down into turn number 10 of this contest. Lap number 1 out of 22. I believe Louis Sharp was the staller on the grid. We've got one of the Campos cars who's gone off the road in the background. It's getting super tight further back as we see the defensive shape being thrown. That's Stromstead trying to defend, and Stromstead is going to be able to defend up against our winner from yesterday, Nikola Solov.
I was going to say Solov. That was quite the aggressive move. I don't think I've ever seen somebody do a move around the outside at that point of the track in Bahrain. You've got two of the, I think they're the McLarens there, racing against one of the Williams cars of, that is Gusti, who's battling with one of the McLarens. We've got 2 wide there at the back between one of the high-techs, and I can't recognise that specific livery.
We've got...
yeah, really exciting start so far. A little bit of side-by-side contact there, actually, between 2 of the cars.
Here we go, about to go 3 wide, down the straight. Sandro Giusti is getting involved, and you've also going to find yourself with Stenchel trying to get in the mix as well, in towards the braking zone. That's late to the brakes, and that's Tuka Tappanen trying to get past Christian Ho. Cars absolutely everywhere, down into turn number 1, and it's getting super tight. Will they all be able to get their way through? I think there was a bit of contact. There was a little bit of contact, and that is going to be a spin round with one of our contenders. The ART goes round. Tuka Tappanen still trying to get through on Christian Ho. He's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, it was Ivan Dominguez that got spun round, or got tangled up with. I couldn't quite recognise who that was, but yeah, very chaotic at turn number 1.
Yeah,
James Wharton and Dominguez, who had a bit of contact then. I think they've both got going. I imagine that'll be a penalty to James Wharton then, because he just sent it down the inside and made the contact, and as the car behind, he is the one who is responsible.
so that was contact heading down into the braking zone, and we're going to take a look further back then. We're going to look for the ART going down into the braking zone. It's going to be a big gaggle of them all coming down into the braking zone, Tom.
Yes, so this is Dominguez. It's one of the dams he got at the inside, but James Watson got spun round, and Dominguez just couldn't do anything about it. There was another car that went off. I wonder if that was one of the other Van Amersfoort racing cars. It might have been, was it Teofil Nile that went off, or was it Ramos? I think it might have been Ramos that went off the racer just to avoid all the mayhem. But I'm surprised we've not got a safety car, actually, unless they both got going again. I think they both got going again, but they have lost time in places. And one driver's dropped down the order is Freddie Slater. He's not had the best of starts to this feature race. The
Dams of Zagazzetta was also involved as we come over the line, and it's now time for some of the slipstreaming to begin. On to lap number 3. Is there an opportunity for Brazilians Rafael Camara, part of the Ferrari Academy, going for the lead into turn number 1? And are we going to get a change of lead? Up and early in this race we will, because it's late on the brakes. It's nicely controlled from Kamara, who now hits the front. Woisen gets the right to reply though towards turn number 4. Here's the opportunity. The Trident defends tight to the inside line. Go the long way around, you'll say, to Callum Woisen, who is going to commit. Will he be able to do the up and under and get the power down? Brilliant racing yesterday, continues to brilliant racing today. Slater's going to retire the car. That's disappointment for the driver on the podium yesterday, as Woisen fights back to retake the lead.
Very nice overtake from Callum Voisin to take back the lead of the race from Kamara. Great battling all around. We saw it yesterday with battles galore. Even further down the field, we've got Zagazzetta and Slater in the pits. We know that Slater's going to retire the car because the team have instructed him. But yeah, nice battling all around between Voisin and Kamara for the lead. Charlie Wirtz is keeping up with these two, so he could well be in the fray for the race win later on. But they just need to make sure they look after these tyres, because it's a slightly longer event to what they had yesterday in the hot temperatures. So it's going to come down to who can preserve the tyres the most compared to others.
Yep, absolutely. As they navigate their way through then, and as we take a look, it's going to be the virtual safety car deployed. Okay, so we're going to get a neutralization to this race. You're not going to see Rafael Kamara go hunting and get past Callum Woisen, as we are going to get the VSC out there on the circuit. and we will now look to see why as well. But yes, that is major. That is major for Freddie Slater. It was going to be a feature race which he was going to be hopefully in contention once again, and hopefully he could have been able to fight for another podium, but it's not going to end the way. But with how he's driven, he's going to get more opportunities for sure when his schedules work. Of course, AIX don't have a permanent driver, Tom, so when the schedules work, hopefully he will be back in that AIX car.
Yeah, provided it doesn't clash with any of the other championships he's competing. The VS is ending, so whatever the issue was has been cleared, and we can go racing again.
Yep, we can indeed. So it's all about reacting. It's all about trying to get the best restart. Talking about getting the best restart, that's late on the brakes coming in, and that is going to be Delpino, who loses a position, and Nikola Solov moves up through, and he is someone who is attacking once again after his brilliant performance yesterday, battling up against Freddie Slater for that race victory. Down into turn number 4 we go. Can Bruno Delpino fight that one back? It'll have to be around the outside of turn 4, so he's just going to have to slot in at this stage, Jack, and it's going to be actually the opportunity. It's going to be the opportunity in a couple of meters time. Delpino trying to get back through, but Solov has the answer to that.
Yeah, he tried to go for it there. I was surprised he actually went for the move for Delpino on Solov. Backed out of it, thought better of it. I thought there was going to be a little bit of contact there initially, but good on Delpino for backing out of that. It's cool to see Callum Voisin leading. I think he's with JBMotorsports, a team who you don't usually see at the front in Formula 3. So every now and then you do get an exception. We've had Callum Voisin this year. We've had Zach O'Sullivan a few years ago. Was an exception to that. And Belinsky looks fairly quick this year as well, to give him credit.
Yeah, we're going back to the start, Tom.
Yes, so Voisin reacting, as I was already mentioning, and just seeing the other drivers just jostling for position down at turns 1, 2, and 3. A bit of gravel being kicked up at the back, but nothing major. Verts trying to go around the outside of Rafael Kamara, but Kamara was always going to have the high ground given where he positioned the car on the approach to the corner. This is the onboard view of the pole sitter, so you could just see Voisin getting alongside before they get to the pit exit line. And yeah, I think it was always going to be having the high ground. But they're going to go into battle once more, Omi, as Kamara's got DRS.
Rafael Kamara going back for the lead. He's going to go to the inside of Callum Voisin. And Callum Voisin is going to lose that position. And that will be another change for the lead coming in. But once again, we know what's coming next, because the DRS belongs to the JBMotorsports man, who's going to take this battle down towards turn number 4. Kamara defends once again. And the battling that we saw yesterday is continuing. Can we see the up and under? Can we see the switchback move? Voisin's just going to have to tuck in, and Charlie Wurz and Tuka Tappinen will be waiting for their opportunity. 4 cars in the train for the win, and then you've got a battle going on from 5th downwards all the way down to 7th. Loads of different trains starting to develop in the early stages.
So we've just seen Kamara and Voisin going so Kamara back into the lead then, but for how long is the £1 million question. Tuka Tappinen in 4th place. We've not spoken about since the race has started. One driver who's made up a ton of places so far, or one in particular, is Tim Chumnitz in 7th place. He's gone up from 13th to 7th. Ugo Ogachukwu from 26th to 16th. He had that grid penalty, remember, did Ogachukwu, for his part in the incident with someone yesterday. And now he's seeing this drone cam of the drivers heading through turn 11. Nicely done there by Formula 1 in terms of the way they've set up their cameras for this weekend, but we are going to see more of that in the coming rounds, that's for sure. Noah Strumstead running in 5th place. He's in his own battle with Christian Ho, so let's see how that battle plays out. Nicolas Solov hold of Bruno Delpino still. No further investigation involving Wharton, Dominguez and Zagazeta.
Absolutely. We are arriving at the final corner. Tuka Tappinen is getting close, as we now hear from Charlie Wurz. So we could hear the end of that radio. Unfortunately, it's not a click of a button up here in the commentary box today. We've got a lot more to do to try and get you all of the radios as much as we can. We'll be able to get you the interviews later on. Right now, though, we're bringing you an overtake from Tuka Tappinen, the driver on the podium yesterday, trying to get back there once again. It was late on the brakes, up against the Trident. Charlie Wurz is now going to have to try and defend this. Down towards turn number 4. They both have the rear wing open. The stronger toe, though, belongs to Tuka Tappinen, who is forcing a defensive shape. And we're going to see Tuka Tappinen. Is he going to try risk it? Will he try get the switch back? Get the power down. Power applied. Let's see when we head down to turn number 5, 6, 7 through these next few couple of corners. How brave is the Ferrari Academy driver feeling? Not brave enough to take the place. Wurz hangs on, and it's a sensible decision that he backed out of it.
Yeah, it's very sensible from Tappen and doing his best to make sure he didn't run into the trying to avert, putting his car in the right places all the time. They're nicely done by the Austrian, and he keeps hold of the final podium position. It'd be nice if we could just see what's going on further on between the likes of Stronsted, Ho, and Tramnitz, but it seems to be a fairly similar situation there. Voisin, keeping in touch with Kamaru, is going to see a replay down at turn 11. That's someone going too deep over the right. Is that one of the...
I think Lecorte. I think that
it's
was.
Lecourt, isn't it? Yeah, so he went down the inside, but went too deep and went into the runoff area, and that's one of the Rodins going off track there, involving one of the high techs. That would be Louis Sharp, who went wide, and Jared Shee got on the inside and made the pass stick.
He did indeed. So, you've got the top two navigating their way through. This battle for third and fourth is really, really ramping up as we arrive at the final corners of this racetrack as well. Jack, what are you making so far of all of the action that's taking place?
This is brilliant racing. I'm loving this. As a bird, I think that flew across the track. Obviously getting a very good view. Also, I am loving that camera angle from above at whatever turn that is. That is a brilliant camera angle. I don't know if that's new for this weekend, but I don't think I've seen it before. Looks absolutely amazing as we see we get a car go down the inside. And here is Gusty trying to make the move here on one of the primers. I think that is Badoa.
Leon.
No, never mind. That is Noel Leon. And Gusty does make the move. He moves up into 11th position as he chases down a points finish. Just has to get past Luca Badoa, who it's not Luca Badoa, Brando Badoa. I keep getting confused. So I was gonna say Luca would be a bit old to be racing in Formula 3. I feel.
It would be the case, yeah, we would expect that. Okay, so Tuka Tappinen at turn 1 was able to move up to third, and then we saw, of course, the move for Sandro Giusti, who got past Noah Leon, the Mexican driver, dropping down to 12th right now. Badoa has the final points-paying positions, a top 10 score. It's the same points as Formula 1 later on as well. Ho finds himself right now in 6th. You've got Tim Travanitz directly in behind, but now this battle is really going to rage on, still for third position, even though Tappinen is ahead. The DRS around this circuit means that you're able to stick with your rival, and we do see battles lap after lap.
Absolutely. Giusti on the tail of Badoa already in their fight. Badoa part of the McLaren setup whilst he is racing for Prema, who have won 5 out of the 6 teams championships at FIA Formula 3 since the championship begun in 2019. And they're hoping to add to that this time around. We should see a battle between Stromsted and Ho raging a little bit, but this is a closer battle between Badoa and Giusti for the final point. So we'll see how this plays out, heading to Los Angeles Radio.
Well, we definitely heard the end of that. I think it's very clear that he wants him to stay with Tappinen as well. Very nearly 3 wide. That's the opportunity. Christian Ho getting past 1, trying to make his way through as well on Charlie Wurz. Okay, so that was super tight. As now we make our way through that Ho, who's going to be off the road. There's going to be the chance now for Tim Travanitz, who's going to go round the outside into turn number 4. Can he pick his braking spot, turn in and make the move on the exits? It's going to be so tight between them, and it is going to be the position gained for the Red Bull Junior. Tim Travanitz gets past Christian Ho, and that was a very interesting couple of corners for those guys.
Absolutely. So that is Travanitz through into 6th position ahead of Christian Ho. Then there's another Red Bull Junior looming in behind. That is Nicholas Solov, yesterday's race winner, hoping to add to his points tally. We've seen a replay of one of the Camposes going toe-to-toe with one of the high-techs, Martini Senchon, getting through on Mari Boyer for position there. Very close. Something's like a magnet connection between the two. That was front wing against rear diffuser from Boyer, but thankfully no debris being flicked up. And this is further on in the lap at turn 4. That'll be one of the Rodins down the inside, I believe, unless it was Boyer getting back through on Stenchon. But this is the overtake then on from Giusti on Badoa for 10th place.
Absolutely, and it was a nice and simple overtake by Formula 3 standards. Considering everything that we've seen today, that was nicely done into the braking zone of turn number 1 and able to get that final point-paying position, as you mentioned, as it stands. Now, this was the brilliant battle that was going on as Christian Ho tried to defend from Tim Travanitz, but the Red Bull Junior got through due to this moment, Tom.
Absolutely, yeah. Going wide does Christian Ho, and Tim Chunitz was able to just get alongside. He was always going to have more speed on the exit because Ho was off the circuit, and Chunitz is through at last into 6th position. But this is another battle we need to be focused on. There is the trident of Charlie Wirtz, who got overtaken by Tappinen not too long ago, now wants that podium position back.
He does indeed. And Jack Well is settling down at the front. Let's hear from Callum Wilson.
Yeah, so
A little bit too late to that radio. That is going to be really on the defensive. In the background there, as we see Solov trying to get past Christian Ho. Couldn't do it around the outside of Tyler before. That'll be wide for Christian Ho. When he rejoins the Red Bull liveried car, Solov is definitely alongside. And he's definitely through as he moves up to 7th place.
Yeah, when you got to be like directly alongside there if you're going to try and make that sort of move. And as we saw Tappinen backed out, he was at the wheel. However, as you can see, Solov is directly alongside, able to get that move done. As one of them has to back out, it wasn't going to be Solov. He makes a brilliant move and is up into 7th position.
Yeah, absolutely. As Jack mentioned in the chat, due to a technical issue, Slater finds himself out. Dominguez is dropping down our order. It looks like everything's okay, so that may just be a momentarily, or the transponder having a couple of issues there. So everything is all right with that. We are on lap number 9 out of a 22 lap feature race in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. Formula 2 is also coming up as well at the same time. You've got the bikes that are racing as well, which you can also find on this channel, which Josh Robert is talking you through. Race 200 coming up for FIA Formula 2 later on, so we're really looking forward to seeing how that race goes, especially after all of the action that they delivered for us yesterday. But right now, we've got Formula 3, and they were also brilliant with their attacking driving. They've got to manage tyres in this feature race, which is why we're seeing them be a little bit more on the back foot compared to yesterday, of course, as we have extra laps and you still have to navigate the entire race through.
Yeah, first just staying in touch with Tappinen for now. He doesn't want to use too much tyres, as you rightly mentioned. You know, there is still a long way to go in this one. You can see the gap that Kamara's built up over Voisin. He's out of DRS territory. But we'll look to see if there's any other battles heading down the field, even if it's in the midfield. I think there is one of the Primas coming through. That's Noel Leon, who is tucked up behind one of the Camposes. That'll be Mari Boyer, who's just ahead. And Leon is not able to get through that time around. I don't think he's been as aggressive as he might have been earlier on. This is Tazin Thapavasak in the other Campos in 17th position, going for it on Lawrence van Herpen for 16th.
Oh, he was very nearly losing the car midway through, trying to make that overtake. Van Hoopen will defend again. Into Pruvizak's going to risk it all the way round the outside. He is really going for it, but there will not be the open door for the Campos driver to fight our way through as we head down into the braking zone. You'll be thinking about it again. When you are in this position, you're not always going to want to wait for traditional overtaking opportunities. You'll want to get by at any opportunity that opens up. That opportunity could be turn number 11 for Inter Pruvizak, who is diving to the inside, and will he be able to get that one slowed down in the way that he needs to be able to move up to 16th? It looks like that is the case as Inter Pruvizak goes on through.
Yeah, nicely done there by the Thai driver. Inthapavasak through into 16th place. Kamara's building up a 2-second lead now. Tappin is a further 3 seconds behind, whilst he is in battle with Charlie Wirtz. Noah Stromstead ahead of Tim Chunitz and Nikos Solov. We've got Del Pino and Guristi in 9th and 10th, holding those final points paying positions. There's not too much happening on circuit, although is Charlie Wirtz thinking about a move on Tuka Tappin as they head down towards turn 1. He closes the DRS before they even get to turn 1, so the answer to that question is no. There is Mari Boyer going through on Brando Badoa at last for P11. Nicely done there by the Spaniard.
Nice stuff from the driver that celebrates his birthday today. So happy birthday to Mari Boyer, turning 21 today as well. As we take a look further back, and he'll be happy with that overtake. Gerard G has dropped a position. That is to Ivan Dominguez further back. As we take a look from the rear of Tappinen's car, seeing Charlie Wirtz following very, very closely. Stromstead also closing in, so this will become an even better battle in a couple of moments' time. It's been a 2-car battle so far. When you get more contenders, it becomes a little bit more, definitely a lot more to deal with for the driver that is second in the train, and that in this case would be Charlie Wirtz as well. He would have his teammate directly in behind. But Kamara doing what he needs to at this stage, and he's just trying to break clear, but also will definitely need to keep his tyres in mind.
Absolutely. I mean, seeing further about the Red Bull Juniors are Chemnitz and Solov. They may have the same livery, but they are racing for different teams in the championship. Tim Chemnitz for MP Motorsport, Nicholas Solov for Campos. He is going for his 5th win in this championship, is Nicholas Solov, which no one has been able to do in FIA Formula 3. It's unlikely he'll do that today, but there'll be more opportunities for him to change that from next time out at Imola. Christian Ho doing a fine job in 8th position, the man who won the Euro Cup 3 championship last year, albeit retrospectively. He is just waiting for an opportunity to come around as it will. Wirtz is within range to attack, but does he actually attack on the pit straight? My guess is going to be no, but don't take my word for it.
Well, let's see then. Here we go. Down towards turn number 1. That will be late lunge. Very nearly a late lunge. We are going to see the battle further back, though. It was getting super tight as well. You've got one Trident trying to attack, one Trident trying to defend, and the Trident on the defensive is Noah Stromstead. The reason why, he's got the Red Bull Junior of Tim Travenis directly in behind, really going over to the white line to try and defend that position, and that's going to compromise his exit through turn number 4, and that'll be the power down, power applied over the curb for Stromstead, and through goes Tim Travenis up to P5.
Yeah, so Travenis positioning the car on the outside and then doing the switchback on the exit, which is what we've seen time and time again from each category that we've seen around this circuit. Tremnitz through into 5th place. Nevertheless, I don't think it'll be too long before Solov finds his way through. But the problem he's got is that Stromstead is still within DRS range of the car ahead, which is Tremnitz.
That is absolutely the case at this stage. So a little order rundown at this stage. On lap number 12, it's Kamara ahead of Callum Woisen. Tuukka Tappinen is in 3rd position, having to defend from Charlie Wirtz. Tim Travanitz is the driver who's just got past Noah Stromstead. He'll also now try to chase down that battle for the final spot on the rostrum as well. You've got Stromstead and Solov, our winner from yesterday, directly in behind. Christian Ho is in 8th. Delpino and Giusti for MP Motorsport complete our top 10 as we take a look at the position gained. And yes, Boyer's having some birthday, up 9 places.
Absolutely. He's having the time of his life so far, is Mario Boyer, but he's not in a point scoring position, which is what he'll want to change in the near future. We've got 10 laps to go at the end of this one. Kamara still maintaining the advantage over Voice, and the gap is now 3 seconds. He is really pulling away as he's preserving the tyres at the moment. Is the Brazilian Callum Voisin can do nothing about it, and I think he is inclined to a 2nd place finish, which he'll take because with it being the feature race, the bigger chunk of points get dished out, and there goes Solov on Stromstead.
Yep, 2 moves going on at once. GSD fights away by as well as he gets past, or tries to at least defend from Bruno Delpino further back. But it was the Red Bull Junior who went on the charge. We're going to look back, though, to see whether Solov can now defend it. Okay, so he's made the move. Now can he defend it and stay ahead of Noah Stromstead, who is enabling the switchback move, trying to get the power down up against his rival. We're going to take this one to turn number 6 momentarily, but Solov is just going to have the position. Stromstead not enough alongside to be able to do anything about it. Leon's got past his teammate Badoa, and then it's into Pruvizak, who's got past Belinsky for 14. Those are some other changes going on lower down the field as Ramos, all the way from the back, moves up to 22nd ahead of Nicola Lacorte.
Yeah, Ramos not having the best race of it. He's not having a good weekend, it has to be said, compared to what we saw from him in Australia a few weeks ago. Rafael Kamara maintaining the advantage, as we keep saying time and time again. But Wirtz is thinking about what he's wanting to do about Tuukka Tappinen, because he knows he's not going to win this one. He's probably not going to finish 2nd. So how long is he prepared to wait before he makes his move? Because he's got to be wary of Tremnitz and Solov's presences, and he will not want to be too complacent at this stage. This is a replay of Solov's overtake, I think. No, it's further down the field. That's one of the Campos. I think that was that in for Puvasek, who's going through on the inside of one of the Rodins there. It feels to me like it was, and he hit the brake marker boards on the inside, but somehow he still got through. But will that move stand?
That'll be an interesting question. Louis Sharp dropping down our order. That's just the transponder having a little issue. So he's back to where he needs to. And we come over the line once again then. And we're on lap number 14. A race that's led by Kamara by 3.4 seconds. We're looking at some of the other battles further back, which are right now getting all of the attention, Jack.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get a little more view of the battles at the back, personally. As we can see, we have I can't get the name of the number. I think that is the number 8 of Tuka Tappenham fending off Charlie Wurz right now. Those two have had a great battle throughout the race. Kamara still dominating, and realistically, I think probably he should get the win. As we got one of the McLaren juniors there battling off the number 2 of Noel Leon, trying to go around the outside as the incident between cars number 24 and 16 noted for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Oh my goodness me, Leon! And he forces him off. He's going to have to... And the McLaren Junior turns his car into an off-roader.
The two teammates going for it, and Leon is ahead of Badoa, who will try fight this one back. This is wild stuff between the two teammates, and of course you've got Badoa, part of the McLaren Academy, Noah Leon just a driver for Prema, but they both drive for the same team, and they could be opening the door for Interpruvzak, for Belinsky, and those drivers that are directly in behind at this stage. But that was really, really tight stuff between them, going through the opening couple of corners all the way down into 5, 6, and 7, Tom.
Yeah, this is going to be a replay of the battle between Leon and Badoa. Leon entitled to take the inside, it has to be said, but I think the problem was he got caught on the curve, really, and he couldn't do anything about Badoa to his outside, and that's why Badoa had to go through the runoff area. They may be on the same team, but Badoa is part of the McLaren Junior program, and then we see a lockup from Badoa as he closes back in. You can see that flat spot on the front left of the Italian, which won't do him any good. Going back to the back of the... This is actually Badoa actually now from Leon, Interpruvzak, Belinsky and Van Herpen. This is going to be a very, very interesting fight between these lot, because if they get into a tangle, we could end up with a safety car, given how fierce this battle is. You just see Interpruvzak on the grass, and he just makes his way through on Leon. Can he get through on Badoa at the same time into the first corner? He can't quite do it, and Leon is able to get the switch back and pass both Interpruvzak and Badoa. Nicely done by the Mexican.
Absolutely wild stuff down into town. What the safety car that we were discussing could come out if they continue brawling like this. 3 wide, down into turn number 4, very nearly 4 wide into the braking zone. So Leon is ahead, trying to get in the mix and stay ahead is Interpruvzak. You've got also Badoa trying to stay ahead of Belinsky. Van Hoopen is there as well, and right now this is frenetic stuff as they go through this part of the lap. It was definitely really, really tight into the first turn. It's going to continue to be tight as we see more dive bombs. Okay, so Interpruvzak defends as Van Hoopen further back is going to push off Roman Belinsky, and Van Hoopen takes the position as Belinsky runs out wide, and you're also now finding yourself with Stentron closing in on this battle. This is really wild stuff, and especially down the start finish straight.
We're going to see a replay then of Interpruvzak going through to begin with. Badoa getting his nose up the inside, but is totally unaware that Leon was always going to have the advantage when they were getting up to speed. And this is going to be further on in the lap down at turn 8. There goes Van Herpen on the inside of Belinsky for position. So he is doing, albeit Belinsky had to go off the circuit to avoid contact.
Go on, Jack.
Yeah, no, just off the track he goes. Belinsky, who showed some real pace in Australia. Not happening as much. He's still fairly quick today. As noted, obviously, Belinsky... I feel like Roden have a fairly strong lineup this year, which is something I haven't said for quite a while about that team. Fairly strong lineup. And also, Badoa, really good move for the switchback there. Just let the other two squabble it out. And Badoa just like, oh, I'll just take both places, thank you very much.
That was exactly the case. Roman Belinsky, well, his journey has been also great to see as well, especially when last year when he got injured. The way he worked to get himself back into the Formula Regional European Championship Alpine car and to get back to that series, and it was really, really remarkable. And of course we've seen it in Formula 2 with Juan Manuel Correa, how hard he had to work as well. But it was great stuff to be basically back immediately for Roman Belinsky after getting some injuries 1 year ago. The way he worked to get back to racing, and also not just to get back to racing, but to make sure that he was running at a high level. And he put out some great videos on social media showcasing all of the work that he was doing in terms of making sure that the team wouldn't suffer with any of him missing any rounds as well. So that was really great to watch, and he definitely was one of the stars of Australia when it came to our sprint race. Zagazetta's having a battle that's between himself and James Wharton. That is for 28th and 29th. The last 2 positions on the road right now.
Yeah, so we've got 6 laps to go. At the end of this, we've got a battle involving Stromstead, who has got onto the rear of Solov, or he was remained in touch with these because he was in front earlier on in the race, was the Norwegian, and he looks to try and get back through. But you can see that Charlie Wirtz has lost ground to Tappanen, and you can see that Tremness is going to get a better tow from the Trident, and we could well see a potential overtake into turn 1.
Absolutely. Here we go. Into turn number 1 we go, and it's going to be the defensive shape that is put out for Wers. Travanitz though will try and get the switch back and go on the charge towards turn number 4. It's exit compromise due to being all over the curb for Charlie Wirtz, and it's going to mean that Tim Travanitz is going to go and send it all the way around the outside into the braking zone of turn 4. He's going to turn in. The Trident will still be there. They very nearly make contact, but the Red Bull Junior gets through. That's 1 through. Can Solov, our winner from yesterday, follow through as well? Who's going to be ahead into the braking zone? It's just going to be Charlie Wirtz, who hangs on to it at this stage. Solov thinking better of it.
Yeah, very nicely done from Solov through at last into 6th position, and he can now think about, or Tramnet, sorry, into 4th place. I was looking at it's the fact that it's MP or Red Bull Trident, that's what the way I'm looking at. Replay then of further down the field. This is the overtake from, or the battle involving Wharton and Sagazetta. Sagazetta got his nose in front, but Wharton was able to hold off, although he pushed him off the circuit there. Sagazetta will not be too impressed with that, and doing a little bit of, what do you want to call it? It was almost like a bucking bronco, isn't it? The way bouncing his way over the grass. Yeah,
hopping,
that,
I call it.
Yeah, hopping or whatever you, yeah.
Not wheel hopping, it's not stock car, so it's...
Okay. Anyway, back to the action. Kamara, well, it looks very, very content for him at the moment. He's looking good for his 2nd feature race win in a row in his rookie season in this championship. And, yeah, this is the battle we want to be looking at.
Absolutely. Just quickly checking if the pictures have started, the track audio, I should say, have started to work. Unfortunately, that is not the case. We apologise for that. We were set to have it for this race, but due to some technical issues, unfortunately, it's not working, even though it was working on the adverts as well. And with JT not here, we can't really do too much about that. But what we can tell you is that the opportunity was very nearly there for Nikola Solov to get by Charlie Wirtz on the defensive once more. Tried it last time around when we went down into turn number 6. Is going to have to try it this time around on lap number 18 in the final stages into turn number 4. Can he swing it around the outside? You've also got Noah Stromstead waiting for his opportunity. Switchback enabled once again. Over the curb runs Charlie Wirtz. Now can Nikola Solov send it? No, he's going to have to back out of it, and it's a repeat of last time, as the Red Bull Junior isn't able to keep his foot in, and he needs to, of course, just make sure that he's making the move, but also trying to keep it clean. He cannot afford any contact, as he will believe, as an experienced driver, that he is a championship contender. Yesterday, he equalled the all-time win record in FIA Formula 3.
He's pushing me off every corner.
So we haven't been able to see any of that between himself and Segura, but from the radio, I think we can tell that he is not very happy, and there is definitely lots of battles going on further back. But yes, Tommy explains how good a Formula 3 race is. There's so many different things going on, and unfortunately, we aren't able to showcase it all due to how much action there is every lap.
Yeah, well, we may see a replay very shortly what is going on between Segura and Leclerc. Understandably, Leclerc not very happy with Segura's driving standards. This is Stromstead then. He will want to try and get back through on Solov, but Solov is focusing more on looking to get past another Trident of Charlie Wirtz, who clearly is struggling with his tyres in the closing stages. But now we've got a battle for 3rd place, actually, because Tremnitz has got the rear wing open behind Tuka Tappanen.
He's going to have an opportunity. 2 Red Bull Juniors going on the attack on lap number 19. So, Tappanen defends that position. We'll look back to that at turn number 4, and also same story applies as we see Charlie Wise. Oh, he's going to do it around the outside. He was able to get the power down Nikola Solov, and he was able to make the move through turn number 2 and 3, and by the time that we get to turn number 4, he'll be ahead, but he still has to defend it. Meanwhile, around the outside for the final spot on the podium goes Tim Traminit. He's going to be close to going off the road, and was he able to keep that all in? But he was committed, he was brave, and he is able to take P3 at this stage, as we also did see Solov get ahead of Charlie Wurst. So both Red Bull Juniors on the charge, making a move each.
Very, very nicely done from Tim Chunitz around the outside into turn number 4, but also from Solov getting through on Verts on the exit of turn number 1, but it's still continuing on. These are the two Tridents going into battle now. This is Stromstead on Verts into turn 10, but it needs to be watching their mirrors, because there is Gristi and Ho looking to snatch points away from both drivers and for the team. So Trident just need to make sure that they limit the damage here and not take too much life out of those tyres. There may be 3 more laps to do after this, but we are getting to the territory where it would be the end of the sprint race, but still with 3 more laps to do. Who's got the tyres left and who doesn't?
That is the question mark as we head to this phase of the race. With the feature race, you do the exact same thing as the sprint, but just do it for a couple more laps, and that's what the drivers have to balance with their tyres. They need to make sure that it goes the distance, as there is no mandatory pit stops when it comes to FIA Formula 3. We are coming out of the final corner. It's been a race that has involved so many battlings for the drivers that are outside the top 2 places. The top 2 were delivering earlier on as well, as we come over the line and we make our way down towards turn number 1. Now it's the time for the Tridents to go wheel to wheel. We had Tridents collide, battling for the win 1 year ago in Spain. This year around in Bahrain, battling for 6. They're going to be all okay at turn number 1 at least, as we see Del Pino directly ahead of birthday boy Mary Boyer. We cut back to the Tridents to see whether Stromstead can get ahead. Stromstead being forced all the way off the road. That is going to be tight stuff for the 2 drivers who will be in the same debrief later on, as we watch them go side by side to turn number 4, very nearly making contact. And could they open the door for Sandro GSD? The Tridents are really going for it, and while they do drive for the same team, it is every driver for themselves in Formula 3, but you do have to be careful when you are up against your teammate.
Absolutely, yes. And Stromstead and Verts wheel to wheel on the approach to turn number 4. Guisti not able to take advantage. We have got a time penalty for Ugo Okachugro, 5-second time penalty for track limits, but it's hardly relevant because he's way down the field and he's way far in front of James Wharton, so it will be no change to his race finishing position. But we will stay in touch with the battle for 6th place involving the 2 Tridents of Verts and Stromstead, and then it's the MP of Guisti and the Dams of Christian Ho.
The camera angles that Form have been doing this weekend have absolutely been extraordinary, all the way through as well, as we hear now from Noah Stromstead.
Like yesterday.
It's going to be an interesting.
Yeah, I think it's really turning into quite something between those 2 drivers. And yes, I was expecting some form of radio. Their apologies, we aren't able to bring you the radios immediately as well. We can't do it with a click of a button, unfortunately. We have to go all the way and use Discord technology to mute and unmute, which does mean you have to press a couple more buttons. But let's see then, we can enjoy this battle in all its glory between Charlie Vers and Noah Stromstead, and that will be the move complete for the moment, unless we can see a late lunch. Can Sandro GSD fight through as well? So now that will be attention being turned from Charlie Words. He'll now have to focus on keeping Sandro GSD behind as the tyres start to fall away on the penultimate lap of the race. Interpruvizak's got a 10-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Can Sandro GSD make this move? Part of the Williams Academy. He's prepared to risk it all the way around the outside of turn number 4, and he is going to do it nice and easy from Sandro GSD, who's going to make a simple overtake, a brilliant overtake around the outside, keeping it within the white lines, and he's able to move on through up to P6.
One driver who's struggling as well, Omi, is Noel Leon. He's had a really torrid, as has Brando Badua. Their tyres have fallen away horribly, and we're going to see a replay of Noel Leon going for it on, is this one of the Van Amersfoort races, or is it Lawrence Van Herbert? It's one of the Van Amersfoorts. He's gone through on the inside there. Has he made the move stick? Well, it looks like he has, although it's still there, and they bang wheels into turn 2.
They absolutely did. Banging wheels stuff between Teofil and Noah Leon. So Teofil deciding to fight it all the way through, and they are lucky to get away with that one, with the car still pointing in the right direction, with no puncture to the tyre or no major damage, as that was contact between the two of them at really tight, at a tight part of the circuit, as they were accelerating as well as we get a slow-mo track.
How on earth was that not a monumental accident? Normally when you get that sort of contact, the cars with the contact with the wheels, obviously because these are open wheelers, usually you get them hopping over each other. How that's not happened there, I have absolutely no idea. Goodness me.
Yeah.
Formula 3 for you right there.
Huh.
Speaking of drivers trying to keep it within the white lines, one driver that has been struggling to do that this race is Uga Chukwu, who's got a 5-second penalty for track limits.
3 wide! On the final lap we go! That's late on the brakes, and that is going to be the opportunity for Charlie Wells trying to defend, and you've got Christian Ho in there as well, and could it open the door for Birthday Boy? Mary Boyer trying to get through as well. He's opening the DRS. Could he get through? Up to P8 for Mary Boyer, as we see Christian Ho, who's going to drop down a position, and then it's going to be Del Pino. Charlie Wells drops all the way outside the points. That's how quickly it can change in Formula 3. Boyer still having to look in his mirrors, Tom, as Ho is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. Ho getting his elbows out, and then you just see the MP Motorsport looming behind that. Verts really struggling with his tyres now, down out of the points. And yeah, that's really hard luck there from Charlie Verts, who started 3rd on the grid, hoping he would get a podium out of this. Well, now it looks like he's not going to be getting any points at all. But this is the rear wing angle of Tuka Tappinen in 4th place, just ahead of Nicholas Soler. But I think Soler is going to run out of opportunities to get the pass done, whilst his Red Bull Junior Tim Trumnitz is on his way to a 3rd place finish. But we want to go back to Rafael Camara, who's about to take yet another win in FIA Formula 3.
Well, we had Gabriel Bortoleto, who arrived at this level 2 years ago. For Brazilian Motorsport, it was a great talent that we were able to see, and he started his campaign as well by winning back-to-back feature races. Rafael Camara is about to do the exact same. He's out of the final corner, going up to the line. Rafael Camara makes it back-to-back feature race wins in FIA Formula 3. What a way to start life in the category for him. Callum Boysen's in 2nd, Traminitz is in 3rd, and then it's going to be Tuka Tappinen, who just holds on. Ahead of Solov, Stromstead is ahead of Sandro Giusti. Boyer is in 8th, Del Pino in 9th, and Ho is our top 10. And that was so tight to the line between Ho and Del Pino, but it was 700ths is what Del Pino got it by. But it's celebrations once again on Grand Prix Sunday in Formula 3 for Camara and Trident.
A superb performance from Camara. Commanding drive, did very well to build the gap on Voisin. And once he was able to build the gap, he could just look after his tyres all the way through. That is championship winning mentality right there for Camara. He knows that big chunk of points could come crucial for him at the end of the year. Superlative stuff. And we should hear team radio on his performance.
Bravo, Rafa. Masterclass riding, mate. Masterclass. Bravo, Rafa. That was a race. That was a proper race. Bravo. Come on. Yeah. We did it.
Did it in the wet, did it in the dry, and still we get the same result. He had to do a bit of battling at the start, Tom, but after that he was able to pull away, get his momentum going, and just run away with this entire race. And he is really one to watch. I think beating him this year in the championship is going to be really tricky for the entire field. And if someone wants to beat him, they're going to have to come up with something immediately when we head to Imola.
Absolutely. And with Stenchel not scoring either, that's a big... That makes it even better for him. Niall didn't score either. Bedrin not competing this weekend. So Stromstad will move up into 2nd place in the championship. Whilst it may be tight in the fight for 2nd place, voice and team radio.
So, we unfortunately won't be able to hear from that at this moment in time. We're going to be able to bring you the interviews in a moment. But I think we can tell that it's going to be really a big moment. Let's try hear from Tim Traminitz now.
Really good job. I think this was one of the best races of my life. Oh my god, thank you so much. Podium, first one of the year, guys.
he'll be delighted with that one, and so will the Red Bull Academy with their performances coming in today. And we're going to be able to hear from all of them in the cooldown room. Let's hear from Kamara again.
Bravo.
So definitely loads of communication, loads of celebration as those three will head to Parc Ferme after utilising all of the grip from the tyres. Jack, what's your thoughts on Kamara's performance?
Is there anyone that can currently beat this man? two feature races, 2 wins. There is literally, he seems to be pretty much unbeatable at the moment. Especially for a rookie, it's incredibly impressive to have him be this dominant this early on in the season. I hope that it's not too one-sided. I'm hoping we actually get a title fight this year, and it's not the Rafael Kamara show every Sunday. But overall, really impressive from that young man. He's got a future in this series for sure, maybe in the one above.
Yeah, I think he's got a future in Formula 1 with how he's driving as well, as he's going to be able to go into the hands of his team. Trident will be there to congratulate him, so will the Fari Academy. That is the academy that he is a part of, and there's a reason why he's a part of that academy. With all of the performances that he is putting in, practice, topped in Australia, in Bahrain, qualifying, topped in Australia, in Bahrain, feature race, same thing applies. It was the win in Australia in the wet conditions. It was the win in Bahrain in the dry conditions. But it does look like he is cursed in the sprint race by the looks of things with everything that he has in the sprint races. But he'll be looking to change that in a couple of weeks' time when we go racing at Imola. And it's wild to think that's basically 1 week before the Indy 500. That's how close time is as well. It's going to be really, really enjoyable weekends coming up around that time of year. But Formula 3 will go into a little bit of a mini break, and it's going to be a confidence boost going into it for Kamara, and everyone else is going to have to think about how can they beat this man in 2025.
I can imagine so. Just saw a shot of Alexa Quinton, head of communications of media and communications, I should say, of Formula 2 and Formula 3, doing her job as always. We are seeing the Road Motorsport driver, Callum Voisin. He'll be very, very happy. He'll be very pleased with how his weekend has gone, which will help him in terms of his points. He's now scored in 3 of the 4 races this season. Has the man who won at Spa last year. His second place finish will enhance his points total. No doubt about that. I wonder if we may get an interview or something with the race winner. But no, they're just doing photos of him lifting the #1 board to show that he'd won the race today, or just to do what the photographers need to be doing, I suppose. We often see it. One of a friend of mine who is involved in the photo shoots this weekend, Alex O'Connor, a huge shout out to him for the job that he does as always. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it this weekend. I don't think we saw the backline that we had yesterday, Amy. Yeah. Today, I think it was just the fact that because it was a few laps longer, but now we're going to get a post-race interview by Davide Falsecchi.
Falsecchi, who is going to speak to our feature race winner, Rafael Kamara.
Rafael Kamara, impressive weekend, pole position, race victory and fastest lap. How do you feel, and how was your race?
Yeah, quite happy with the result. It was a long race, but I think we managed very well the tires, especially. We knew it was going to be a tough condition, that is super hot now. But yeah, very happy with the result. The team did an amazing job. It was a good comeback after yesterday. We had some issues, but we came back stronger, and yeah, just very happy.
Tell me please about the start. Yesterday you stole in the grid. Today was a good one, but maybe voicing a little bit better than you. How was the start?
Yeah, I think it's something that we still need to work on. But after this race, I think we found the problem, so I'm quite confident for the next one. Will be a long time, but we keep our head down, keep focused, working the same way we have been doing, and for sure we're going to come back strong.
And talk us through your overtake, because you were second, a big battle between you and Voisin, and tell me about the overtake, because it seems that your race pace at the end of the race was by far the best one, my friend.
Yeah, in the beginning I did a slight mistake when I tried the first time, so he came back. but after I learned from, and then was a good race after that. Keep it nice and clean, managed well the tires, and everything went very smooth.
Thank you so much. Very well done.
Thank you.
Great race.
Thank you.
Great to be able to have Davide Valsecchi back on a feeder series broadcast, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, for the first time since 2022 at Bahrain International. And, well, yeah, I think hopefully when Alex Jakes is trackside we can get him to hold an F2 into. That would definitely be quite special as well. As we take a look at Kamara when he came across the line. Race 200 being celebrated for Formula 2, and that will be coming our way very, very shortly after this one. Not a lot of waiting to go. But the Ferrari backed driver showing his class once again. And this is really turning into quite something for Rafa Kamara. And he's well on his way to move up to Formula 2 if he continues with this throughout the year. And then after that, could Formula 1 await. It's going to be really, really fascinating to see as we watch Bruno Michel along with Stefano Domenicali all in conversation there and all out there watching what's going on. But it's time to hear from the driver's thoughts in the cool-down room.
There. Okay, let's go down to the cool-down room, hear what they have to say.
VSC, which lasted 10 seconds.
Yes.
But I felt like yesterday it was worse though, because
Yeah, no, yes, it was.
there was a little bit of wind, at least in the straight, and yesterday it was just hot air.
Yeah. Rally's was able to cool down a bit.
Yeah. Was that after the restart?
1 lap later.
Yeah, it would have been a lap later.
I know this is the first one.
Was it?
Yeah.
You took the lead at the beginning.
Yeah, after the start.
Great to hear from the cool-down room as they cut away. And, well, I noticed when we said a cool-down room, we're also giving a massive shout-out as well to the actual cool-down room, which you can find on F1 TV as well, which comes after every single Formula 1 race on the Wednesday. So, we're going to get ready for the podium ceremonies. And Jack, overall, how did you find that race? I think it was definitely not as action-packed as yesterday, so I definitely think you should go back to Formula... you should definitely go back later on and watch the Formula 3 and Formula 2 from tomorrow, as it was action-packed from start to front, especially near the front of the field. But yes, what was your overall thoughts on the race today?
What a race that was! This is reminding me every reason of why I love the junior categories. You got a bunch of guys essentially fighting for their careers every season and battling out like literally no tomorrow. I just loved that race, seeing all the side-on-side battles.
It was incredible. We're getting the podium ceremony. Just Tim Traminit who ends in third. Callum Woisen in second for Rodin Motorsport. He definitely gave it his all. He'll get days where he gets to stand on the top step of the podium for sure. But today, it belongs once again to Brazilians Rafael Kamara, who is celebrating and definitely really, really excited to be getting back on the podium once again in FIA Formula 3. And it's time to hear the Brazilian national anthem. Great to hear the national anthem of Brazil once again. That could be a national anthem that we hear quite a bit. The trophy is given to Kamara. That'll be another one that he wants to savour as well. It's always great for these drivers, even if they do reach Formula 1, to look back at all of their success that they have in the junior categories. And this is really, and also for the teams as well, it's always incredible to see them storing trophies, getting all of these results with different drivers every single year that they try and provide for to get themselves to Formula 1. And it's always great, as we mentioned earlier on in the weekend, to see when those drivers go back to meet their former teams, and that connection always lives on. That connection always lives on. It's one of the great things about having Formula 2 and Formula 3 on this weekend, that you will see them. You will see F1 drivers getting involved. You will always see everything. We had Isaac Hadjar yesterday going and congratulating Pepe Marti on his win straight after the sprint race, even though he had qualifying. Today, though, for Formula 3, the celebrations begin, and it's Rafael Kamara and Trident on top once again. Jack, final thoughts on the weekend, and as we look ahead now to Imola, which will take place, of course, on the 15th, on the 16th, I should say, to 18th of May.
We really got to wait that long to watch this amazing series again, really? What a brilliant race. I love this series already. I love this new car that we've got, and looking forward to the rest of the season, as well as the Formula 2 race in about half an hour.
Tom, your first weekend with us on FIA Formula 3, how did you find it?
I have really enjoyed it so much, Omi, so thank you for allowing me to join you in the comms box. But as far as the bigger picture is concerned for Rafael Kamara, 26 points ahead he is over everyone else. If he continues that form, we could well be seeing a champion being crowned by the time we get to the summer break.
Yeah, we absolutely could indeed. It's going to be phenomenal to watch. The penultimate race this year will be, the penultimate round I should say, will be at Budapest, and it will be very exciting to see what happens there. Could it be crowned a round early before we get to the festival that always is Monza? Okay, well, we're going to take you through the full results, and then we're going to wrap up. It is Rafael Kamara who ends as the winner, grabbing the 25 points along with the fastest lap bonus point that comes with it. Callum Woysen ends in second, Tim Travanitz in third, and then it's Tuka Tappinen in fourth, Nicola Sullivan fifth, Noah Stromstead ends in sixth, and then it's GSD Boyer on his birthday in eighth, directly ahead of Bruno Del Pino, and Christian Ho was able to secure the final point in what was a brawl on the last lap. Charlie was in 11th, Lawrence Van Hoopen in 12th, Roman Belinsky in 13th, Santiago Ramos in 14th, Terry O'Neill in 15th, and then we had Tisana Polenta Privacek ahead of Leon Stenshorn, Ivan Dominguez, and Nicola Lacorte, who wasn't happy about Javier Segura's defense in the race. And to final page we go. Brandon Badura in 21st, Joshua Dufek, Louis Sharp is in 23rd, and then it's Segura, Marin Angeli, G, Ugo Gachukwu, James Wharton, Zagazeta, and the retirement, but still one of the stars of the weekend, Freddie Slater. He'll be one to watch, and you can catch him in GB3 and Freca, which we'll be covering on JB Motorsports 2 this year. Well, that brings an end to this weekend. It's been an absolutely phenomenal weekend of Formula 3 racing. We've really been able to see how this car works around a circuit like this. We hope you join us at Imola as well. That's the next time we'll be racing, but I want to say a huge thank you to Tom, to Jack, and also to JT as well for producing on Friday and Saturday. We'll be back, as I mentioned, at Imola. Until then, enjoy Formula 2, enjoy Formula 1, and enjoy all of the other motorsport series on JB Motorsport. But at Imola, Kamara will be the one to beat. Thank you very much, and goodbye.